Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Deleted. I, 24 female, am the daughter of a woman who had a long-term affair with a married man, my father. My future mother-in-law hates me and my mom for this and is trying to manipulate my fiance, 25 male, into leaving me. Not sure what to do and I need advice. So basically, I am the child of an affair. My mom fell in love with and got knocked up with me by a guy who was already married. My dad would periodically visit my mom and me until I was about 4, which is when his wife found out about my mom. We never saw him again. Once in a while, I think he sent some child support checks, but I'm not sure. I barely remember him since I was really young when he left me and my mom, and he never visited much, while I was awake or around, anyway. I don't think he really was interested in me, just my mom. My mom had 2 jobs to support us, one at a fast food joint during the day and the other at a strip club, which I didn't find out until I was 16. She lied and told me she had another job at another restaurant at night. I am fairly certain my mother was also a sex worker on the side, but I've never confirmed and frankly, I don't want to know. She had frequent boyfriends which she would mooch off of until she got tired of their crap and they got tired of hers. Anyway, fast forward to present day. I am engaged to the most wonderful man in the world after dating for 4 years and planning a wedding about 8 months from now. My mother still works as a stripper and lives with her current boyfriend, who is honestly a sweet guy, but is also a deadbeat and alcoholic. My fiance's mother is not so wonderful. She found out, of course, about me and my mom's background and present occupation, and she hates both of us. She's telling Mike, my fiance, not to marry me because I'm the product of adultery and I grew up in a home where cheating is viewed as acceptable and permissible, and therefore I will most likely cheat on Mike and he will have to get paternity tests on any children I have so he's not stuck with some other man's baby. She called my mom a harlot, a floozy, and no good man stealing trash. Mike's mother has been married twice and both of her husbands cheated on her. The first one with a stripper, so I kind of sorta understand why Mike's mom is kind of paranoid and doesn't look with fondness on me or my mom. Mike is upset with the way his mom talks to and about me and my mom, but doesn't know what to do. It's his mom and he loves her, and up until now they had a really good relationship. But she doesn't understand why her son, who could have a good girl, would settle for someone like me. For the record, I graduated with honors, have a great job, support myself, and have never cheated on Mike or any other boyfriends I've had. I loathe cheating and do not think it's okay at all. As for my mom, she was of course deeply hurt by what my future mother-in-law said. I'll be the first to admit what my mom did and has done in the past is not okay, but I don't hate my mom. She's just a very silly and immature woman who is lacking in common sense, but is not malicious in any way. She's actually very sweet and giving most of the time, but she has terrible taste in men and has made a lot of poor life decisions. She says she knows her affair with my dad was wrong, but love is love and she couldn't help who she loved. She still views my dad as the one who got away and the love of her life. I think he's the only man she's ever really loved. I remember after my dad disappeared, her crying her eyes out every night for months and drinking herself into a stupor. Obviously, she's delusional and has never really learned from her mistakes. She lacks basic life skills and has always relied on her looks. She is very, very, very beautiful and charmed to get by in life. But I know she did her best to be a parent to me and I know she loves me. Is it too much for me to ask my future mother-in-law to treat my mother with respect, or me for that matter? I'm not sure what I can ask of Mike, who feels caught in the middle and isn't sure what to do. He's never had a serious argument or been truly angry with his mother before. He hates what she says but is clearly messing with his head because his mom has never been wrong before, which he knows she is now. What can I ask and what should I ask of my fiance, and how should I respond to Mike's mom? I want to just cut her out of my life, but I'm not sure that's fair to ask of Mike. I want him to be happy too. I have a short temper though, and it takes everything inside me not to explode at his mom and just verbally rip her to shreds, especially when she said those things to my mom's face. Well, OP, I think you need to sit down with your fiance and ask him, what are you going to do about this? Or ask him if he has any problem if you step up and do something about this, like we know you want to. But really, it should be him, the one who steps up to his mom and tells her to stop. Regardless of whatever she thinks about you or your mom, the fact is that you are not responsible or should be held accountable for what your mom did. You have your own life and you make your own decisions. And so does her son, and he decided he wanted to marry you. Now, another thing is that he could be a mama's boy and he would just refuse to stand up to his mom, and then you need to ask yourself if you want to be in that kind of relationship. But if he isn't, then you do need to sit down and tell him how much this hurts you, and that should be enough for him to stand up for you and do something about his mother. And what do you guys think about this situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Dronzai says, I was very close to my mom. She raised me as a single parent and I adored her. We were very close. My wife was a stripper when we married. My mother started talking crap about her to me. I went to my mother's, told her she was no longer invited to the wedding. Told her any friends or family she invited talk crap at my wedding, they'll be forcibly removed. Told her she'd never lay eyes on her grandchildren. Told her to get my name off her house because if she died and I inherited it, I'd sell it to the first crackhead I could find for $1. She came around in a day. Broke her heart. I'd never said anything like that before. On her deathbed, she begged me to never tell my wife the crap she said. Begged me to take it to my grave because she was wrong, ashamed, and couldn't bear to have my wife think she was such a nasty person. Your fiancé needs to be prepared to go nuclear. Is he? Shelby Nitz says, quote, Mike is upset with the way his mom talks to and about me and my mom, but doesn't know what to do. End quote. Your fiancé needs to stand up to his mom. I'm sure he loves her, but presumably he loves you too, and he needs to tell her to knock it off or neither of you will be seeing her. You both need to leave if you're visiting and she starts in on you, and he needs to hang up the phone if he's talking to her and she starts in. Do not marry him until he's able to stand up for you, or you'll be putting up with this your entire marriage. Mama Crass says, first of all, as everyone has said, this is something your husband needs to put an end to. Second of all, it will get better, believe it or not. My mother-in-law hated me for 9 straight years, for pretty much the same reason. My family wasn't good enough. So, she lost holidays with her precious son for 9 straight years, and my husband and I ate a lot of Thanksgiving dinners in beach resorts. After 9 years, she finally relented and apologized in front of her entire family. And I gave her a hug and told her I loved her and asked if I could call her mom. She adores me now. I mean, how could she not? Additional information from OP's comments. I know he's the one that needs to stand up to her. It's just hard because he's never really been a mama's boy before, but is kind of acting like it now. I know he's torn because they are close, and it sucks for him that someone he loves and respects so much is bashing on the person he loves most in his life. It's hard for him to reconcile the two in his mind, but he knows I cannot and will not marry him if he doesn't do something about this soon. I won't be with a coward who chooses his mom over me. I'm just not sure how much is fair to ask. I just need him to do something. It's also hard because I can't help but feel she has a teensy bit of a point. Plenty of people on Reddit would call my mother the exact same thing. Although I cannot and will not tell my significant other what his relationship with his family should be, I am seriously hoping he decides to skip their holidays this year. They do not say mean things to my face or call me names, but they have not liked me from the beginning and they make that clear to him. They took responsibility for paying things in his life before we met, where he now is too far deep into to bail out of. He went back to get another degree at an expensive college for a field that is extremely difficult to get into and requires one to have 100% free time and work without pay for a couple of years, and then rewards you with an insanely high salary you won't achieve anywhere else. And they use that to control him. We are 4 years into our relationship and ready to live together, and we can't because he is trapped in a home they own and he is still in the work for free period of this career. It would be beyond stupid for him to say screw you and try to handle this on his own via ruining his finances, so he is at their mercy. Now, on one hand, I am lucky that they do not control his day-to-day life and live out of town, so not living with him right now isn't totally the end of the world. But on the other hand, it blows my mind that someone's parents are controlling their life at his age. Alright, well, the community absolutely agrees that it's OP's boyfriend or future husband the one who should stand up to his mom and do something about this. So now that we know this and we got some context from OP, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. It's been a week since my first post, and before I tell you what happened, I want to thank everyone who took the time to comment, even the haters and just generally overall rude and tacky people. Most of you were kind and supportive and helped me think the whole thing through. However, I really didn't appreciate all the nasty comments directed at my mother. She's really a kind and sweet woman who I dearly love, who has made a few bad choices in life and is too immature and emotionally damaged to see it. At least she didn't abandon me as my dad did. That was also the first and only married man she has ever had any kind of relationship with. However, I know this is Reddit, and a subset of this community just loves any opportunity to judge and bash people for any mistake and think they deserve eternal damnation. I guess it was to be expected. Also clarifying, Mike's dad was actually my future mother-in-law's second husband. Her first husband cheated on her with a stripper, but that is not Mike's dad. Mike's dad also cheated, but it wasn't with a sex worker. It was a mutual friend or co-worker or something like that, not sure about the details. Mike is in no contact with his father and does not like to talk about him, so don't ask. Anyways, on to the actual update. I actually showed Mike the post. He was quiet but kind, asked me to let him think on it, and then cooked me my favorite dinner and drew me a bath with scented oil and candles. About a day after I posted, Mike asked me to sit and talk with him. He started off the bat by sincerely apologizing. He said the things his mother said to me and my mom were so awful and brazen, he was taken aback and froze up in response. He said that yes, his mom has made the odd snippy comment about me or my mom, but he's been good about deflecting the comment and changing the subject. He just never expected an explosion of that magnitude. He then apologized for not addressing his mother sooner, but it's been so hard for him to wrap his mind around it. That he deeply loves and respects his mother, and it has been so hard to think about the implications of her actions and what it could mean for his relationship with her. However, his life is with me now, and if he thinks he's grown up enough to get married, he needs to put me first, regardless of his mother. I will say I can understand why Mike is so close with his mom. I'll be the first to say I do not like my future mother-in-law, but she has many admirable qualities about her. She's very tough and ambitious and strove to make Mike have a happy and successful life despite 2 failed marriages and being a single mom. She is quite successful career-wise. She's just too close-minded and controlling for me to ever like her much. Anywho, Mike said that none of what his mom said affected his view on me, that I'm amazing and beautiful and just perfect, and he doesn't care what my background is. He's still marrying me, and that will make him the happiest man on the planet. Aww. Mike asked me to sit right there on the sofa. He then got his phone and called his mother. He said, "Mom, hi. I'm calling because there is something I need to talk to you about. It's about what you've been saying about my fiancé and my future mother-in-law and what you said to their faces." Then, future mother-in-law started to argue with him and he cut her off saying, "No, stop right now. I'm not going to listen to this BS anymore. Look, I know how much Tom and Dad hurt you, and I'm sorry about that, I really am, but taking it out on OP and her mom won't fix it or make it better. OP's mom isn't the one who cheated on you, and OP didn't exactly choose to be born into the life she's had. Don't you think if she'd had a choice, she'd have done it differently?" Future mother-in-law continued to argue and is now yelling. Mike gets upset and strongly says, "Mom, shut up and listen." This did silence her. Mike's never talked to her that way ever. So he continued with, "OP is more than good enough for me. She's smart, successful, witty, ambitious, and beautiful. She has a good heart and is going to do amazing things. She's all this in spite of her past. And you know what, Mom? If you think she'll cheat on me because of her parents' relationship, then I guess I'm bound to cheat on her too, because my dad was a cheat and my mom had the bad judgment to marry 2 cheaters in a row." To this she says, "What? But there were consequences. You weren't born from it, and I got them both out of my life. I never said it was okay. It's different. You saw how it was bad to cheat. She was raised thinking it's okay." Mike said she sounded really shaking up. He then replied, "And OP didn't have consequences? Because her dad cheated, he abandoned her. Because of infidelity, she had to grow up without a father. Do you think OP wanted that?" She was quiet for a while and then she tries to talk, but Mike cuts her off again. He says, "No, this conversation is finished. If you still want a place at the wedding, you will drop this topic today, immediately, forever. You don't have to love OP or her mother. You don't even have to like them, but you will treat both of them with respect. If you don't, you won't have a place in my life or the lives of any kids OP and I have. OP is my friend and partner, and she will be my wife. Anything said against her is also said against me, and I won't have someone around who is disrespectful and cruel for no reason to me and her. Her mom is going to be my mom. I plan on calling her mom because that's what she will be." And my future mother-in-law fell silent and started crying. She never cries. Then he continued, "You owe OP an apology. You also owe her mother one, but I can't control that. But I can control what happens in my house. I will not talk to you until you have apologized to OP and are ready to be civil to her and her mother." And then he hung up. I was and still am speechless. My fiancé is the kindest person in the world, but he stood up for me and my mother without backing down. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. Mike then called my mom and apologized for his mother's behavior and said he had talked to her and it shouldn't happen again, but if it does, to please do not hesitate to tell him. He also asked if he could start calling her mom, and my mom said of course. I know this meant the world to her. He also sent her a big bouquet of flowers to her for her birthday, which she should be getting sometime today or tomorrow. My mom texted me later saying she wished she could have been loved like I am at any point in her life and to please not take what I had for granted. She said she is so happy for me and thinks Mike is the most wonderful guy in the world. I got all choked up and texted her back a thank you and that I thought so too. Still haven't heard from future mother-in-law, but neither of us expects to for a while. She hasn't communicated with Mike at all either, which tells us she took what he said very hard. It'll probably take a while for her to recover from it. My guess is she'll probably feel like I stole her son from her and have corrupted him, but I guess that's what happens when you marry a conniving sin spawn like me. I really don't care, and it isn't my problem. As long as she keeps her opinions about me and my mom to herself, I'll tolerate her for Mike's sake and any future kids we have. I know for a fact if she steps out of line, Mike won't have any qualms about cutting her out, so I'm not worried about it. Anyways, thank you to those who have been supportive and helpful. I'm happy to be with Mike and getting married. I wanted to share my happy update with you since most of you were so good to me. Now, getting ready to have lunch with Mike and start planning our wedding. P.S. There will be no post-wedding update because I am sick to death of all of the a-holes on here being absolute douches to me and my mother. Ciao. Well, OP, this is a happy update. He stood up for you. That's what mattered. Hopefully someday your mother-in-law will come around. If not, whatever, right? All the best in the future and thank you for sharing. Take care, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.